Hello, I'm Meganova, and I just watched the first season of The Seven Deadly Sins. Um, so I've been hearing a lot about this show for years now. Originally, back in the day, by my ex-girlfriend. She was majorly into the show, but we never got around to watching it while we were together back then. And now recently, my best friend, he has been ranting and raving about it for the last couple of months. So I was like, okay, fuck it, I'll give it a shot. I mean, I've been having it on. Sorry, just. Also, this is one time where I'm actually recording a video right after I've finished it, and not several days or weeks later. So, I think I deserve a bit of props for that, at least. Okay. But yeah, he's been going on about this show for quite a while now. So I was like, okay, sure, I'll give it a shot, because he's like, oh, please watch it so we can discuss it together. What happens and so on. He's done this to me a couple of times before. He did it once some years ago with iShield 21. Actually, that's quite a few years ago. That's basically what really got me back into anime, was him sort of pressuring me into watching iShield 21. Which is like a really good show. I mean, I watched all of, I think it's 125 episodes? There's 195. I don't remember right now. Let's see. I've got my list right over here. Let's see. 145. Okay, so I was it was a compromise. It was in the middle, more or less, kinda, sorta. Okay. So, The Seven Deadly Sins. Yes, just gotta get my mind on track again. I actually highly enjoyed this show. I think it strikes a good balance between being funny, having some nice fan service, and having some good action and actual genuine character moments. Which can be a very hard balance to strike, but in my opinion, I think it hit it. I know there are some people who feels like it wasn't very well executed. But I can't agree with them. I mean, sure, that's whatever your taste is. I thought it was good. I generally liked the characters. I mean, some of the characters didn't get as much development as others. But then again, it's clear that this is one of those shows that is planned to that is going to be running for a while. So I didn't expect that within the first 24 episodes that every character would have had their backstory explained. I mean, hell, we haven't even seen the seventh sin yet, as of where we are right now. So, we're still waiting for that to happen. And I get why some people might be put off from it. Like, the Melodious' character, how he's like a super perv, and is constantly groping Elizabeth. Which, I mean, to me at least, I found it funny most of the time. Also, honestly, one of the funniest things about it was her kind of nonchalant attitude towards it. It's like, sometimes she would be a little bit flustered, but most of the time she would just kind of roll with it, and like, I just found that kind of funny, gotta admit. But other than that, I mean, the action was great. The animation, for the most part, was pretty good. Like, sometimes there was a few derpy moments, but you kind of expect that at this point. you shouldn't expect, or, well, I guess you shouldn't expect every show to look perfect, but I mean, we can all hope. But yeah, it's very rare that you actually get that. So I'm not too bothered by it. It's like the at least the animation was on point when it absolutely had to be, like in the big action scenes and such. Generally, the animation was really good there. Sometimes in some of the static shots or where there wasn't very much movement anyway, sometimes the faces could be a little bit off, but it was very rare. Barely even enough to actually warrant being mentioned, but I did it anyway, I guess. But yeah, I mean, if you're into general shonen shows, you will most likely enjoy this show. It has like a pretty cool like teamwork dynamic, but it's also kind of funny in how a lot of the characters are like super selfish, which I mean that kind of fits in with them being representations of the 7 deadly sins. That they're not necessarily the best people. Like, I mean, sure, they're all fundamentally good people, but they're not perfect. Like, all of them have their own various flaws in different ways. Like, you have someone like King, he is, oh yeah, there's gonna be maybe some slight spoilers during this video. I'm gonna try to keep that to a minimum. Even though, I mean, sure, it's a 4-year-old show, so a lot of people might have already watched it, but just in case. Someone like King, he's the sin of sloth. So of course he's gonna be like sorta lazy. But I like how the sins are incorporated into them. Like, we haven't seen it for all of them, but for King specifically, and again, there's gonna be spoilers, he is the king of the fairies. But he got into a fight which gave him amnesia. And he was away for, I think, 500 years? The thing you have to keep in mind here, for a fairy who lives for like several thousands of years or whatever, several decades to them feels like just a few days. So, yeah, it took him 500 years to get over his amnesia, which is kind of crazy, but yeah. But in the meantime, his home had been devastated. Like the fairy forest he was from originally had been burned down to the ground. So yeah, that was kind of fucked. And that is why he got marked with the sin of sloth, because he wasn't. They saw it as him being lazy, not being there to protect his kingdom. And then you have someone like Ban. I've never actually pronounced his name myself, but the way they pronounce it is Ban, because of, you know, Japanese. But I guess Ban would be how you would pronounce it in regular English. I'm just gonna say Ban. Why am I blanking on what sin he is now? I remember Melodius is the sin of wrath. The sin of greed. Ban is the sin of greed. And that's basically, I think it's not explicitly said, but I think it's because of the fact that he drank from the Fountain of Youth. He's immortal because he drank from the Fountain of Youth, but that was also being protected by the fairies. Specifically, this fairy Elaine, who just so happens to be the sister of King. And there's a whole thing in there. Actually, why did I say earlier that I wasn't gonna spoil anything? I'm an idiot. Just never mind me. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. I'm a bit tired right now. Maybe I should try to do some cuts at some point. Why? But yeah, like I'm trying to find things to say without just outright, just making a recap of the show. I mean, I guess there's not a whole lot more to say right now without, going into deep spoiler territory. Yeah, I guess that's it. So, if you like this video, I'm sorry it got a bit short and I didn't really say much. But if you like this video, please leave a like and maybe put a comment down there. We can maybe you can ask me about what I thought about a thing I didn't mention if you've already watched the show. Maybe we can get a little discussion going down in the comments. And yeah, like, favorite, subscribe, all those blah. And I will hopefully also. I've been slacking off a bit with my Twitch streaming, but I'm gonna try and get that back up and running. Maybe try and stream something else than World of Warcraft or Sea of Thieves or League of Legends. I need to expand a bit more, like I did last year with my Christmas streams. Maybe I should go back to some of those games I played there. Actually, I should get back into Skyrim. I keep saying that I should stream Skyrim again, but it will happen very soon. I will promise that. So keep an eye out for that. There's a link to that down in the description. So you can go subscribe to my Twitch channel as well if you feel so inclined. Fucking camera out of focus, but have a good one.